Hello. So this is my final project. The motivation and goal for my project, it was pretty difficult finding a data set that I could kind of connect it to like a Yelp API or a Spotify API. So one thing that I thought about once I saw some different data that I filtered out on the data.gov website was a health inspection um CVS file for different facilities in Austin, Texas. So I thought about maybe go using the Yelp API um to download the some data from there and kind of just try to connect those. Unfortunately, they didn't have an ID that was similar, but they did have addresses, a zip code, and names of restaurants or different facilities that were the same. So I thought it was pretty interesting to choose that because I wasn't really having luck with anything else. And the question that I had was if a business has a higher score after a health inspection, do they have a higher rating? So in the data collection process, some challenges I found the most difficult was getting the addresses in the correct format. They were formatted differently. One of them had like the longitude and latitude attached to it. So I created a function to kind of filter through all that and to format it a certain way. And I also created another function to help clean up the address of the other ones so they were matching, um, which was very important. As I said before, that I was going to connect them and kind of help filter out ones by using the zip code, the name, and the address of the businesses. Um, Something else was having to check the data types all the time because I would go to try and um, like merge something or trying to aggregate something and the data types were not the same. So I had to go and convert those to be the correct ones. And then also just having such a large notebook, like I kept having to scroll back up and down to like kind of remember which data frame I was referencing and what the names of the columns were in each one. So sometimes I would create a little cell and um, look at the head of whatever data frame I was looking at. Some data cleaning techniques I used. I used pandas the most. I was using different functions, like looking at the column names, renaming certain columns after I like manipulated it some way. I was dropping columns, checking the data types. I was also checking for NaN values. Um, Keeping those or kind of finding a way to fix those is very important. So I ended up just dropping the NaN values because there were so many and I had a smaller data set at that point. And then I was just like merging the data after I would aggregate. That was something that you have to pay attention to. And for my data schema, or schema, I don't know how to pronounce it. I only ended up with one table. I wanted to do three different tables, but I was having such a hard time getting it to work and I kept getting errors. So I successfully created one table that I was from the merged data frame between the CSV file and the JSON file. So it was called Case DB Austin Inspection, and I had the name, zip code, address, mean score, facility ID, mean rating, and values because I ended up creating a column that would take that would assign a value. If the mean rating was a certain threshold and the mean score was a threshold. Which created that values column. So this is my schema. It's pretty simple and yeah. So some final queries that I did. One query was I looked for facilities that had yes in that volume column values column that I was talking about. So this is my query. Another query I had was to find the highest mean score in each of the zip codes. My third query was counting the number of no values that were in the volume of the values column. Ugh. And then I also had a query where I listed the facilities by mean rating and zip code. And I displayed the mean rating in a descending order, and I displayed the zip code in ascending order. And the last query I had was to calculate the average mean score for each zip code and display that in the descending order. And luckily, all of those were successful. So overall, I think the project went okay. Um, I think I could definitely take another month and make it a lot better, but I'm pretty happy with where I got it. Thank you.